Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome, good evening, and welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. Today is Tuesday, the 28th of October. Wow! October finished. The year nearly finished, as a matter of fact. And this is our anniversary month. We started broadcasting, we had this program in 2023. I think it was the 7th of October. Initially, we started 1 hour every other week, but now, hey, the cries from the fans, they were so loud. They said, well, I know, 1 hour ain't enough, and 2, every other week, too much things happening in sports. We want it more often. So, we had to oblige and go with the listeners, the viewers. I am Troy Bif Mills, your host, and we are heading into, what's the word here? Halloween. I think Halloween is coming up sometime the 31st. Well, I don't have to get a mask because I think this one will do. Already. I have one of my guests in the studio and he laughing after me. Could you imagine that? I think I'm going to kick him out. And it's Halloween. But though we're having a little fun here, we have to get a little somber moment, a somber mood, because as we speak, Hurricane Melissa, Category 5, it is over Jamaica. It has made landfall in Jamaica, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the worst hurricane on record, according to what the information I heard today. They were hit by Gilbert sometime back 1984, maybe, I can't remember, and they got it hard from Gilbert. But I listened to a little interview with the Minister of Tourism in Jamaica, and he's saying that they are better now prepared than they were for Gilbert back in 1984, I think it was. However, this is much worse than Gilbert was. So though they have improved and they prepared themselves much better, it's like one step forward, two step backwards, unfortunately. And so many things about this hurricane Melissa. It's traveling at 8 miles an hour. At one point it was traveling at just 2 miles an hour, which is basically walking. But it's now up to 8 miles an hour. So the faster it travels, the faster it would go on to get out in the sea and get off of Jamaica. Jamaica is quite a big place, but this thing is broad. I think it was covering about 400 miles at some point. That's a lot of distance. Broad. And I saw the eye. As somebody said, the eye looked like a donut. Well defined, extremely defined. And the more defined the eye is, the more mother work it is. Oh, sorry about that. I thought I had put that on silent. And just let me do that. My apologies. And I think that was Abby, one of our guests. We should have the St. Kitts and Nevis Sailing Association with us at 7:30. And we do have the Commodore.
Yeah, I was the Commodore of the St. Kitts Club, but I'm no longer the Commodore. I'm the Vice Commodore now.
Okay.
But I'm the president of the Sailing Association, which is the combination of St. Kitts and Nevis, the federal body representing sailing.
It's funny, He ain't 7:30 yet, and the man barging on this show. Well, it's all good. He's here, and we've been doing a little talking. And we thank you for the information, that clarification. But to Jamaica, as president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, I'm extending empathy and our prayers to the table tennis fraternity in Jamaica. And on behalf of the host of this program and the sports journalist on WINN FM 98.9, actually we're extending prayers and the best wishes to the people of Jamaica, everybody took number guy, and also to the country itself. It's not easy. And after Jamaica, it's going to be touching the eastern tip of Cuba and then heading up to Turks and Caicos, Bahamas. And after all of that, I think it's going to head up to Bermuda. When it gets to Turks and Caicos, I'm not certain what the strength is going to be. However, we have to pray for them, and we extend our prayers to the people of the government and people of Jamaica, Hispaniola, and for those of us who forgot our history, Hispaniola is one island divided in two. It's divided into Haiti and the Dominican Republic, or Santo Domingo. Long time I haven't heard the word Hispaniola. And then we have to the people, government and people of Cuba, Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, and eventually Bermuda. We ask you to be strong and positive, and our prayers are with you. I understand there have been some deaths, about 3 deaths in Jamaica so far. And I say so far, it's early days yet, because my understanding is this hurricane Melissa is going to be over Jamaica until sometime tomorrow. And then it's going to go into the sea and head on up to Cuba. It's not easy. And I was watching some videos, and I can't understand we human beings. I just can't understand us. They are evacuating because they're saying like 5 kilometers from the shore. It's about below, how they put it, I can't remember it. I don't think it was below sea level, but that's the impactful area, about 5 kilometers. And they're evacuating people, and people ain't want to go. People say they want to stay to look after the house. What am I hearing? Hurricane going with your house, dog, cat, stone, everything, unfortunately. But of course, some persons believe that, especially the younger persons, and I hope I'm not profiling, that they have ulterior motives. Because under these situations, a lot of looting happens. We remember Jam Band, and Jam Band is my favorite band, one of my favorite bands. I believe they're the best jam band in the world. They had a song, Hugo Make Me a Dan, where when Hugo hit them back in, when it was 89, I think it is, the song may sound humorous, but they're facts in it. Gold chain, big TV, big ring, all kind of thing, big, what do you call these, wristlets, because they looted the place. So people are always going to take the opportunity to loot under these circumstances, even they are putting their lives at risk. So we only hope good sense prevails with them, and they move out, and the best wishes to the people, government and people of those countries. And it's only when things like these happen we realize how fortunate we are, because we haven't really had much this year. We just had a little shower here and there from a few things. So we got to give thanks, and especially since we have not had anything serious for the last few years. Dominica, on the other hand, they have had, excuse me, some really rough brushes. But we extend best wishes to them. Well, we might as well move into our guests. Our guest tonight is the St. Kitts and the Nevis Sailing Association, the SKNFA. We have the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Sailing Association. That's what.
Good evening.
And could you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us who you are. Tell us a little about you.
So my name is Nicholas Dupre. I grew up playing football in St. Kitts, but I had the opportunity to learn to sail, and we wanted to make sailing more accessible to people in St. Kitts and Nevis. So there was various sailing clubs that were formed. In St. Kitts, there's the St. Kitts Yacht Club, which operates out of Frigate Bay Beach. And in Nevis, there's the Nevis Aquatic and Sailing Center, which operates out of Owali. So the sailing in St. Kitts, historically, it was a few small, just a few people on larger yachts, and we tended to transition over the last 8-10 years to focusing on smaller boats because they're a little bit more accessible for people to get in and learn to sail. You don't have to own the boat. You can just join the club and come and sail with us. And also, most of the Olympic categories for sailing are small boats. So small boats in sailing are called dinghies. We say dinghy, we tend to think about inflatables. But dinghy sailing means small boat sailing. So they are not weighted boats. They don't have a keel. So you have to use your body weight to keep them flat. So they are a little bit more athletic.
Thank you. And Nick, well, I got so much into it that I will trying to do some connections, because we're going to have Abby and Hoku from Nevis joining us. And I'm going to ask my technician to perhaps give Abby a call, and we could get her onto it.
Him.
Abby's a him?
Him. Sorry.
Oh, okay, forgive me. These days, I don't know why people don't use simple names like Troy and Sam and Saver. So you could hear them and recognize them and know that's a boy and a girl. You know, you get names these days. But while we sort out all of that, forgive my bad manners. I got carried away with the Jamaica situation. And in welcoming persons to the program, there are some persons who I know are always going to be with us every Tuesday night. Annie Ann in Tabernacle, she is a wonderful, wonderful lady. I worked with her at Marriott, and there's only one thing wrong with Annie Ann. She's not from SP where the best me. That's the only thing wrong with her. And we have Lornette Summers over there in Keon. We have an Anna Hall. We have Anna is also in Keon, up in New Pan site, I think it is, up by Bractus area. We have Evie Phillips Morris, and she's a blind lady. She logs into the program as well. And over Mansion, we have James, not James Pemberton, that's in Sandy Point. Montezuma, James Palmer, Montezuma. And up in Canada, we have Montclair, can't be Montclair Samuel. I'll tell you in a minute, but he's in Canada. We call him Tito. He is from the inner city. Montclair Samuel, yes, in Tito. He's from the inner city. He's always locked on. Chris in Texas. He's actually from St. Lucia or St. Vincent. But he's always in Texas. He's locked on. Good night, Chris. How are you? The entire Brown Hill posse, the whole of Brown Hill village, they're always locked on here. And we say thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. And you could follow us on Facebook, or you can follow us on YouTube as well. And of course, there are numbers you can call in. You can call in too and give your suggestions, your comments, share any ideas. If you're in the UK, you can call 033 344 0065. If you're in the USA, you can call 718 285 6984. If you're in Canada, you can call 305 921 4619. And of course, if you're in St. Kitts and Nevis or you want to use a landline, you can call 466-0989, 762-0989, 662-0989. And if you're in the Caribbean, you can prefix that. You will need to prefix it by 869. Or if you're shy, you can call me 869-668-2055, or you can WhatsApp me. John Montezuma Palmer. John. Why, John, I always thought you weren't James. The good thing is they told them are biblical names. So, John Palmer, not James Palmer. My apologies. John Palmer, the man out of Mansion. He is logged in and he has been sending us information about the Mansion League. We're going to touch that on the back end. And we might be able to give you some domino. And where are we now? Having said all the salutation, birthdays, I apologize, Nick, for happening to cut. But birthdays, anybody celebrating birthdays today, happy birthday, happy anniversary. If you got anything new today, a bicycle, a new cap, a new, these long eyebrows that the BMI people could shelter under them when rain come, congratulations to you and your boyfriend and your girlfriend, baby, bicycle, promotion in your job, anything. Or you got a job. We say congratulations to you. If you celebrated your birthday between last week, Wednesday, and yesterday, Monday, and as well your anniversary, happy anniversary, belated anniversary, happy belated birthday. And if you're going to be celebrating between tomorrow, God's Spear Wednesday, and the next week, Monday, happy birthday, happy anniversary in advance. And indeed, you always have the positive and the not so positive. If you're going through a moment of bereavement, you have lost a loved one, family, relative, friends, neighbor, colleague, somebody you know, we say condolences to you, and we ask that you be strong and positive, and we pray that you might find peace and comfort and strength in the many, many, many happy moments you would have shared with the deceased, and which you will always forever cherish and keep close to your heart. We're now back to the sailing, and Mr. Producer, we're back online. We have persons online, so we're going to need our earplug to get to them in a few. As we say, good evening to, who do we have online? To those online, who do we have online? Hello? We're not hearing anything yet.
Abby, Grayson.
Hi, good night.
Good night. How are you?
We're good, thank you.
And
Good night,
this is Abby and Grayson. Who's
Uh,
this?
this is
Grayson.
good night.
This is Grayson. So we have Elizabeth, we have Grayson, and we're waiting for Abby and Abby's mom.
So
This is
Abby is on. Elizabeth is Grayson's mom. She's also said good evening.
Okay, so Abby's on as well.
Abby and Grayson, I heard.
Oh,
them on.
okay. Welcome, Abby. Welcome, Grayson. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I am also doing good, thank you.
Congratulations. You represented St. Kitts and Nevis. You journeyed to Antigua. And would you mind telling us how old you are, Grayson?
I am 11 years old.
That is Grayson. And
Yes.
Abby is how many? How old are you?
I am 13 years old.
13. Well, I'm going to tell the two of you something that you may not know. There are some persons, 50, 60, 70, 80, they have never ever represented their country, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So at 11 and 30, and you're representing St. Kitts and Nevis, that is tremendous. Now, let us start with the 11-year-old is Abby?
Grayson.
Grayson. Okay, Grayson. When did you get into this sailing thing? How old were you? And what caused you to get into it?
I was 5 when I started, but it was just fun summer camps and so on. But I found it fun and I liked the sport
You were 5.
when I first started.
Yeah, no, you're now 11. So you started 6 years ago. Correct?
But competitively, it's been like 3 years now.
Okay. And was it just, you went into the camp and you liked it? And you went home, Mommy, I want to do sailing. How receptive were Mommy and Daddy? Did they have any concerns? Oh, you this, or did they say, yes, no problem, we're going to sign you up and get you going right away? How was it?
They didn't have any concerns.
Okay, a little louder, please.
They didn't have any concerns.
Oh, so they were glad. And they say, okay then, and they've been very supportive. How often do you train or practice or
They
what do you call
also
it?
sailed, so
Sorry, repeat?
they also used to sail.
Oh, they used to sail. So it was one big happy family sailing. No wonder they didn't have an issue. Uh,
So Elizabeth is actually also part of the board of the SKNSA.
okay. So Elizabeth is
Is Grayson's mom.
Grayson's mom. Okay, Elizabeth.
And Grayson's father, Cuthbert, actually used to be a serious sprinter. So they have a family history of being serious athletes. So they've always been very supportive of the club. And no doubt, that family support has been very helpful for Grayson to achieve what he has.
So we now have Grayson, 11, and with us we have Abby as well. Is it Abby? Oh no, it looked like we lost them.
Yes, it is. This is me.
Oh, right. Abby, and you're 13, Abby.
Yes, I am 13.
And when did you get started, and what caused you to become interested in the sailing?
Well, when I was about around the age of 8, I went to a summer camp for sailing in Nevis, and I also enjoyed it, and I ended up going every Sunday, and then I slowly got more into competition, and now I'm here where I am.
That is very interesting. The only sailing I do is when I go across the channels to Nevis. But I'm sailing on whatever the ferry is.
So Abby has recently been one of our spokesmen. He was speaking in the schools in Nevis this last week, trying to encourage some kids in Nevis to join some outreach programs.
Oh, that is wonderful. And I guess with the successes from Antigua, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, they will probably be more excited. So both of you went to Antigua for the Caribbean Dinghy Championship, the CDC.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's, Abby, tell us, let's go to Grayson. Tell us about your preparations. Did you have to do anything special? Did you have to
Yes.
do more hours than you talk us through? You're told, hey, this competition is coming up and we want to select a St. Kitts and Nevis team. Tell us from there what has happened after that.
About 2 weeks before the event, I went to go to a week-long racing camp in St. Martin, and that helped me a lot. And then a week before the event, I went to Antigua to train and know the area, and I feel like that helped me.
And what about you, Grayson?
So that was
That was Grayson.
That was
Oh,
Grayson.
sorry, forgive me, that was Grayson. Abby, what about you and your
Yeah.
training?
I didn't change much. I didn't do anything outside of my normal schedule. But I would say that before the Caribbean Dinghy Championship, I did start looking at a lot more videos just to refresh my mind and like learn a bit more before the regatta. And yeah, that's mostly it, other than the training twice a week.
Did they have competitions they had to go through to select the team?
Yeah, so throughout the year,
Sorry, that was for Nick.
So throughout the year, we do training every weekend, and we lead up from the summer. We have what we call our national championship, which is our ranking event. So whoever wins in these competitions then gets selected to be put forward for the competitions later in the year. We have different types of boats. So we have Optimists, which are small boats which are good for kids up to 14. They're small, like a little bathtub. So that's what Grayson sails. We also have other single-handed sailing boats called lasers or ilkas. And for these, you can have multiple different size sails as you progress in size. So that's what the other competitors who went to Antigua were racing in. And we also have some boats which are double-handers. So you have team boats, so you have two people in a boat. We had hoped to take also a girls' team out of Nevis that did very well in that class of boat. But unfortunately, one of them went abroad, and we couldn't manage to find her a partner. And they're very close. It's a very close-knit boat. You do have to work together very closely. So we actually only took the Optimist and the Laser Sailors to this competition.
Okay, so you have the competition. You're now entering Grayson and Abby. How confident you were that, hey, I'm going to make this St. Kitts and Nevis team. I'm going to be selected to go to Antigua. Starting with you, Grayson.
I was very confident that I was going because in the National Dinghy Championships I came first and the mini series.
Okay, and what about you, Abby?
Well, I was confident that I would do well just because I was very, very confident in my abilities since I had improved a lot in the past few months.
That was wonderful.
So Abby has come up through the Optimist boat, and he's recently moved on to the Laser boat as he's grown out of the Optimist boat. So he has been sailing for a long time, but is new to the boat that he is in. So he's just making this transition to the bigger boat.
Now, you get to Antigua. Well, before we come back to you, the classifications, are they just by boat or do they have an age category with them?
Certain boats have an age category. But the boats that we entered in it's just based on the size of the sailor. You match the size of the sailor to the boat. So you can enter one participant in the different sizes of sails for the Ilkas, and you can enter, I think, a couple of people for the Optimist, and then you can enter for each class. And as it's a Caribbean Dinghy Championship, there's also like a prize for the most points. So which country has performed in all the different boats and comes out as the Caribbean winner.
So Grayson at 11, would he be competing against, say, a 20-year-old or 23-year-old?
No. So for his boat, by the time you're 14, you age out of the boat.
Oh, okay.
So it's based on body size and also weight.
And similarly to Abby.
And so Abby, was there a age to your class?
For the 4.7, you have to be under 16, I'm pretty sure.
Under 16, okay. And this water alone want me to get into sailing. We are sharing some pics, and these boats are looking really wonderful. We are queuing them up actually. So you're in Antigua now, Abby and Grayson. You were confident that you were going to make the St. Kitts and Nevis team. You're now in Antigua. The adrenaline start pumping. What were the confidence levels at that point? When you look around and you see sailors from Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Antigua and Barbuda, etc. How you started getting in the butterflies?
I was pretty confident because I had already known most of the sailors from past races and from sailing with them previously.
Okay. What about you, Abby?
Right. Well, the first day I was a little nervous because this was my first ever regatta in the new boat class. But then after I got out there and sailed, my nervousness went away because I was just having fun out there and I was doing well. So yeah, I just felt really good and the nervousness kind of just washed away.
There were 3 days. Did you guys race on each of the 3 days, or your categories were just on the 1 or the 2?
Everybody had to race on each day. There was 6 races on the first day, 7 on the second day, and 2 on the third day.
6, 7, and 2, that's 15 races. So did you participate in the 15 races, or you only participate in 1 or 2 each day?
I participated in all 15.
What about you, Grayson?
That was Grayson.
Sorry, Abby, forgive me. What about you, Abby?
Right. Well, honestly, I also felt quite well. It was basically the same. I felt the same as Grayson just then.
So how these regattas normally work, you have multiple races, and what they do is they stagger the starts for the different boats, and they set them off on different courses. So the race committee tries to organize the race so that the smaller boat will have a shorter course, so that they all start their own race separately, but they all come together as they go around the course, and so they finish. So you have roughly 45-minute races, and you just do them back to back all day. And the idea is that by doing multiple races, if you have a mistake on one race and you capsize, or you didn't get in the right position on the start line, or you read the wind the wrong way, if you have multiple races, once you get above 5 races, you can cancel one of your scores. Once you get above 10 races, you cancel 2 of your scores. So by doing 15 races over 3 days, you then get to average out who is really the best sailor. So it's a long day. They get on the water around 8:30 and don't get off until 3, 4 o'clock, and for lunch they bring sandwiches out to the boat. You eat your sandwich on the boat.
On the boat, you don't
On
come
the-
in
you
and
don't
take a
come
lunch
in.
break.
If you want to go to the bathroom, you jump in the water next to your boat, and then the whistle blows and you're gone again.
So they have bathroom breaks, but on the boat, out in the water.
Yeah, so basically we do a race, and then myself as the coach will try to have a quick chat with them before the next start sequence starts up, and do a little brief on how the wind went, if they need some water, some refreshments, and then they just go again. It's a long weekend. It's a lot of sailing.
How, from an exhaustion point of view, how tired were you, if you were tired at all, or were you just having fun and you didn't realize you were tired? Tell us about that. Let's go with Abby.
Okay. From that point of view, I would say I didn't really feel that tired. After the race is finished that day, the tiredness kicked in. But while I was out there, I'm guessing that the adrenaline and all the racing, I just didn't feel tired. And also had lunch, and I also packed a few energy gels, so that helped a lot.
What about you, Grayson?
I didn't feel tired after the races. I'm not sure if it was adrenaline or I was just prepared, but I didn't really feel tired until the final day. Then I started to feel tired a bit.
Well, while we are talking, we are going to have our engineers show us a few clips, thanks to President Nick. And these are pictures from what has been happening. And we remind you that you could log on to us on Facebook and YouTube as well, WINN FM, Facebook, WINN FM at YouTube, and be part of the program. You could actually see us live in studio, and we have Nick live and direct in the studio with us, and we have Abby and Grayson via Google Meet, and we are looking at the pictures. These boats are really colorful, Nick.
Yeah, the ones that we competed in were the more big triangular sails, and also the smaller white sails. We didn't compete in the colorful sail class. That was actually more of a beginner class for under 16s, which we didn't have someone for. But they are quite athletic boats, especially, well, all classes that we raced in are boats that you can basically, you're supposed to be horizontal for the entire race. So it's almost like you're doing a plank as you go around the course.
Okay.
So they are quite fun, quite athletic boats.
That's interesting. And did you two have to use the bathroom while you were out there, or you put up everything until you got back to land? You guys are too shy to say? Abby, we're going to go with you. Did you have to use the bathroom while you were out there?
Whenever I need to use the bathroom, if it's a number one, I'll just hop in the water, and I didn't need to number two at all out there, actually.
And what about you? What about you, Grayson?
Yes, a couple times I did need to use the restroom, but only number one. So you would just jump out the boat and then go and get back in when you're done.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I could imagine that. Is it a case where if you want to go now, you go now, or there's a specific time they say, hey, you hear a whistle, okay, now it's bathroom time? How is it?
So you have a short...
Not really.
Sorry, go for it, Grayson.
There isn't really a specific time when you have to go, but you wouldn't really go during a race, but it would be like after the race or before the race.
Okay.
If you wanted to use the restroom, then you would go.
Okay, I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. And Do you have to, do you use sunblock or anything against the sun? Does that affect you?
I wear a hat and long sleeves and long pants so I don't get sunburn.
Okay. What about you, Abby?
I for one of the days I had a ski mask on with glasses, and for the other two I just put on a lot of sunscreen and hoped I wouldn't get sunburn.
Okay.
Some of the older guys were complaining that the other teams have these special tights because you're leaning out of the boat. The front of your foot is hooked under the strap, and the side of the boat hits you underneath your calf muscle, and the rest of your body is out of the boat. So you can have these athletic pants which give you padding on the back, and they turn around into like a back support because you're leaning out a lot. So I think they were complaining a little bit, so I think we'll be trying to get some of those to help them a little bit.
Of course, you have to look after your sailors.
Yeah. No, the other teams are very kitted out. Some of them go to world championships, so they all have some of the best stuff. So we were very happy to be at the competition. We did have to rent some equipment while we were there to try and get up to the level of gear that they have, because it does make a big difference. So we're constantly always trying to upgrade our fleet so that we can train on them here on island, so that when they go there, they're all of the settings how they like them.
Is this the first time you've competed in Antigua?
So the Caribbean Dinghy Championship rotates around the Caribbean to different islands. So previously, I think it was in Martinique, Melroy and Amadi had been down to that competition. It had previously before that been in St. Martin. The last time I missed the last two competitions, and the other coach went. And previously before that, I'd been to it when it was in Antigua before.
So that's about 4 times you've been, St. Kitts and Nevis have competed.
Yeah.
And it was Grayson, I think it was. I saw a piece from the Antigua Yacht Association, and they commented that yourself and another person from St. Vincent, I think, made history because it's the first time you've podiumed for your country. Grayson, how did that make you feel? What position did you place again?
I came third, and I was very happy when it happened. At first, I was kind of nervous when the results came out because I wasn't sure if I was going to be third or fourth, because I did my math and I thought I would be third. But when the results came out, I was tied with the person in third. So they had to use a rule.
So how it
They
works
had
in
to
this?
go to the
So
they
how
had to go to the rule book to figure out who came third.
And how did they do that?
So how it works in the scoring is when you come first, you get 1 point. Second, you get 2 points. So you accumulate points over the course of the regatta, and whoever has the least amount of points wins the regatta.
The least.
The least.
That's a funny thing. Normally, it's who have the most points.
Yeah. So the aim is to get, well, you get less point. You get more points is bad. So if you get disqualified or something like that, you get the number of participants plus 1 and stuff like that. So it's all about getting less.
So Grayson is tied.
So then they will look at the number of firsts that they had, the number of seconds that they had, any disqualifications, all of these types of things, and they'll go through this list to then work out who should be the winner.
Okay. You're listening to our viewing, as the case may be, on the ball here at WINN FM 98.9. And we have with us, the St. Kitts and the Nevis Sailing Association, Nick Dupre, the president, and we have online 2 athletes yes, athletes is not just track and field. Once you're competing, two athletes, Grayson, who is 11, and Abby, he is 13. They are online with us because they are in Nevis. And we were to have the entire team here, the entire cast, but the other two couldn't make it, and we do apologize for that, for them. However, we are here, and I am really excited about all of this. I'm wondering if someone my age would be able to do some sailing and competing. Or it's encouraging me perhaps to go and get another son and another daughter to get them grow up big to take part in this. So
Yeah, no, it is a unique sport that it is something you can enjoy for all of your life. You know, in some sports like gymnastics, people tend to do it and then stop, whereas sailing you can enjoy your whole life. And there are some competitors in the Olympics who are quite old because there's a lot of experience in it with reading the wind. So any age can join sailing. I mean, obviously, if you start when you're in a small boat when you're 5, you have a bit of a head start. But you can we have boats that are more recreational, or we have boats that are more for competition. So everybody can get involved.
tell us about reading the wind, Grayson. I mean, I know when the airplanes come in according to where the wind is blowing from at RLB Airport, they'll take off from the economy side or they'll take off from the other side. So when you're sailing, tell us how you go about reading the wind. What do you look for? Of course, you can't see the wind, so. But talk to us about that, Grayson.
You would look at your wind vane to see where the wind is coming from, and to see like gusts, you would look out on the water to see dark patches, and those are usually the gusts. And depending where they're coming from, it might either be a lift or a header. And you could also use boats around because boats point into the wind.
Okay. And how difficult, Abby, was it for you when you started to become familiar with reading the wind? Was it a challenge or did it come easy?
I mean, I would say just understanding where like the good wind is and like understanding how the wind shifts was probably the hardest part. But after you sort of get it, it just becomes like natural.
You guys sound like really professionals.
It can make or break your race. You pick the side of the course with the good wind and you get a head start. So there's a lot of strategy and understanding this. So there's the physical technique, but then there's also understanding the theory, which makes a big part, especially where this competition was, because it was inside of a protected bay. It tended to be more shifty, and we had a little bit of weather this past weekend. So the clouds, every time a cloud comes, it tends to create wind from the direction of the cloud, and so it would create lots of shifts and make a very interesting race course.
This is one of the sports where the coach will not be able to coach the athlete until he or she gets back on land.
No, we coach from the boat.
Also, the coaches are on the. When you say coach, are you on any boats with them?
So I'm on a power boat sitting outside of the start course, outside of the race course. So the coaches have to, obviously, once the start sequence. So how a race works is you have a 3-minute countdown up until the start of the race, and this 3-minute countdown is part of the race because you're forming your strategy where on the start line you want to be, if there's an advantage on one side or the other. Stuff like that. So you have your countdown, and then you have the race, and then the coaches are on the side, so we're not allowed to help with their decision making for that part of the race. But then between the races, we have a moment where we can debrief our participants. So the boats will sail up alongside you on your power boat, and you can have a little chat, and then they go off and do the next race.
So where they are racing their own category of races, you're out there basically all day with everyone, because when Grayson's race is over, you have to follow Abby to give coaching as the case may be.
Yeah, so you're trying to position your powerboat within the different fleets of racing, so you can see the different boats and see what advice you can give them for the next race. But you also are not allowed to be in a position where you will affect the wind on the course. So there's certain areas where you're allowed to be, so you don't block the wind. But all of the coaches are trying to get as close as they can without blocking the wind, so that we can give our athletes the most feedback and debrief them.
Is it one big boat with all the coaches, or each of you have your own boat?
So each island can have their own coach boat. So St. Martin had their own coach. Antigua, being the host nation, had multiple boats. I think Grenada, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines shared one coach, which they pooled because they're coming from a little bit further. So they had one coach that was helping with their group.
So your boat, you were the only one on it, or you had other persons on it with you?
So Grayson's mom and dad, Elizabeth and Cuthbert, they were there to help me with help me with briefing them and giving them water and refreshments and stuff like that, and also as a spectator to see the race, see how he's doing, give him some feedback.
So technically they were assistant coaches.
Yeah, in this event, it was great to have them.
The boat, is it complimentary, or did you have to rent it?
They normally provide something. When you go to, I think, like the bigger, like Pan American and Olympics, I think you have to provide your own boat. But for these competitions, they provide you with one. Or perhaps if you have a small team, they may say, two teams, you share one coach boat.
Okay. Uniforms. Do they have specific uniforms?
Yeah, being on the water, we use rash vests, which for sun protection. So each team will tend to have rash vests representing their country that they race in. And then when we go to a prize giving, we'll have like our polo shirts or our uniform for that.
Do you think St. Kitts and Nevis will be ever, well, let me ask it another way. When do you think St. Kitts and Nevis will be in a position to host something like this?
It's a good question. I mean, we have the perfect, we have all of the seaside. We have the beautiful training ground. I guess we could do with a little bit more support from government for the access to the sea. A lot of these bigger centers, they have like boat ramps and stuff. So when you have a big competition and you need to get 30 boats into the water and out of the water, they have a little bit more facilities, or like docks where all the coach boats can come up. You have committee boats, so you have the people who are setting the race and organizing it, doing the timing. You have the judges, so there's another boat patrolling around, making sure nobody hits a mark or does any fouls. There's rights of way rules. There's all the coaches, and so there's a lot that goes into it. So we're getting there. The more, with the help of, I'm glad to see Safe Harbor has taken over Christophe Harbor, so hopefully we'll have some more activity on the water. But we actually have quite a lot of the racing hulls. Normally the boat is provided by the host nation, and then the visiting teams will bring their sail and the spars, the rudders and dagger boards with them. So we do actually have the opportunity to host a good Optimus competition here. So hopefully soon. We just have to build our program here so that we're a top player. So that
Well, I don't know much about it, but what I can tell you, St. Kitts and Nevis, we have had a history, a record of being excellent hosts, no matter what, be they competitive events, be they seminars and things like that. So whenever you jump on board, I'm confident that you and your organization are going to do an excellent job. You mentioned something, and I came across it. there were just, I think, 36, what are it, 36 fouls, 36 something, and there were three protests. And the report said that, hey, this was excellent for an event of this magnitude and things like that. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to shed some light. I'm looking for where it is what it was saying.
So perhaps I think Grayson and Abby were both involved in some of the protests. It is like being in court at the end. How it's supposed to work is if you make a decision and you in the wrong and you block someone when you're not supposed to, or you accidentally touch the mark, or you cross the line before the race starts, they'll give you flags and signals, and you're supposed to do a penalty turn. So you do either a 360 or 720 spin, and then you continue your race. So they want most of the fouls to be done on the field. Occasionally there's situations where people will say, no, I was in the right and I was wrong. And then after the race, it goes to a judge and a jury. And so that's what they were saying in that, is that they were
36 penalties and 3 protests.
So they were happy to see that everybody was just doing their penalty on the course and getting on with the race, because nobody likes to be the one at the end. If you are in the wrong, you get disqualified from that race. And so it becomes a very formal process. At the end of the race, when you do your penalty turns, you have to go and report on it. If there is a hearing where there's a protest, you can also call in another boat who's a witness to argue your case.
That's serious politics out here, man.
It is like going to court. These guys are a bit scary. I don't know if Grayson or Abby want to step in on this, because they were both involved in these.
They both were involved?
It's very, it's, if you want to be competitive, you have to push it, and sometimes you make a little bit of a mistake, so or other people make a mistake, and it is part of the sport that you have to shout protest to other boats when you're in the right of way to defend your position.
So, Abby, you want to lead us off on that?
All right, yeah. In CDC, I was actually a witness for another protest, and honestly, it is really it is scary to be in the presence of the judges, and they also have an online judge from another country or another certified area, and it really is nerve-wracking to be there and tell your story, because they sound so intimidating, but then it's also really rewarding for whoever you are helping, because most of the time it's your friend asking you to witness if you saw. And actually a few years ago, when I was in the Opti, I did a protest against another person and I won. And honestly, it feels good to know the rules and to win a protest, but I don't like that feeling of putting someone down. So if I were ever in the position to protest somebody, I don't think I would do it again unless necessary, because I do not like to win over protesting people. I like to win based on my ability.
What about you, Grayson?
I didn't witness or be a part of any protest, but I did go and sign off that I did my turns twice.
Or that's a penalty that you had to do?
Yes. I did my penalty turns, and then I went to the judges, and they give you a form to fill out to say that you did your turn. So I went and I filled out my form twice.
What caused you to have that penalty? What did you do or what didn't you do?
It was a port starboard, which is Rule 10.
A little louder, please. I didn't hear that.
It was port starboard, which is Rule 10, or it's like it kind of based on which side of the boat you're sitting on. If you're on the left side, you're on port, and if you're on the right side, you're on starboard. And starboard has right of way, and I was on port, and one of the times the starboard person hit me, and then the other time he had to move out the way, so I had to do penalty turns for both times.
So these boats are zigzagging up a course, and so on one direction you have priority, and on the other direction you have to give way. And so it's a very close call whether you can make it around in front of the boat, or if they're gonna have to move out of the way or change course. And so if you think you can, you try to get, you have to pick your gaps. So it's quite technical. Most of the rules are around safety. So if you have a more maneuverable position, you can't crash into another boat and say, well, you didn't get out the way. But the port and starboard rule, which Grayson is talking about, you just have to pick one side. There is no, it's just for racing, that one. You're just zigzagging, and you just have to see if you can make it through the gap or not.
This is interesting. I mean, it sounds more confusing than with football. You have the offside and non-offside and penalty and things like that. And in the cricket, you have the LBW and whether a man catch a ball or not. But this sounds,
So it's like in football, you're judging the ball as it's coming over the top, and in sailing, you're judging the wind and the boat speed and which lane you're going to be in as you pick your way around the course, if that's a useful comparison.
That's really interesting. And of course, any sport, you have to have rules and guidelines, and you have to have officials. And there are always going to be disputes, whether it is this, whether it's that. In cricket, I don't know if you follow cricket, you have the review system. The umpire says not out or out, and the aggrieved team can challenge it if they believe the umpire erred. Sometimes the appeal is upheld, sometimes it's overturned because the umpire either made a mistake or he was right, or whatever the case is. So, and they use technology. Somewhere on the line, I think you mentioned, I think it was you who mentioned there's an umpire or a referee that's online or something like that?
So there's a committee that is looking down the start line, and they look along the line to see if any boarders across the line. So the start is quite competitive. So that's normally a case. But then as you go around the course, they stay at the start and finish line, and someone else observes that the boats aren't coming into contact with each other around the course. So I was going to say something, I've forgotten.
We were talking about the online element of it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the judging and they're looking across the line, but I think you mentioned there's an online judge or something?
Yeah, so there is, if there is queries, it you can take it to a high level. So after they have people from somewhere else in the world assisting with the protesting. But I was quite happy this event. Some of our guys are perhaps less experienced, but I prefer to see that we are pushing it. We are trying to get on the start line in front. Sometimes you make a mistake and you make a bad judgment, and you're over the start line, or you make a mistake in the rights of way rules. But until you really push yourself to be up there fighting in the front line, you don't really know what you can achieve. So I was glad to see that all of the athletes were really giving their best and really pushing. You have to push the rules, the borders a little bit, if you want to be the winner, So I'm glad to see we were in there.
I'm actually glad that Abby and Grayson, they know the rules, because a famous musician, Mozart. He says it's good to know the rules so you'll be able to bend them. I'm not encouraging you, Abby and Grayson, to bend the rules, but in any sport you're playing, I think you'll perform better once you know the rules. You're listening to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. We have in the studio with us the St. Kitts and the Navy Sailing Association. Well, actually, we have them split. One here in the studio with me. That's the president, Nick Dupre. And we have Grayson and Abby online. Stick and stay, don't go away. We're going to take a short break and we will be right back on the ball with you.
Know where we ride or where we in a
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome back to On the Ball here at 98.9, and we are sailing. And well, I don't have any sunburns or anything like that. We're with the Sailing Association. Boy, time flies. because we've been at this thing like an hour now. Why, Nick? I didn't realize we're talking, and time just flies when you're having fun. I'm wondering if Grayson and Abby, if they've fallen asleep on us. Are you there still, Grayson and Abby?
Yeah, right here. Thank you.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. We had to get in a bit of the politics of the thing. And what's up next for the two of you? Grayson and Abby.
I will be going to the Optimus Championships in St. Martin in November. That will be my next Biggie Championship.
How long it is? 2 days, 3 days?
It would be the same 3 days like the Antigua one.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Abby?
I have no regattas in the future planned. However, I am looking forward to going to more laser regattas in the future, either this year or next year. And my aspiration is to make it to the Youth World Championships next year in Denmark. Thank you.
That's
Over to Nevis and train too?
Yeah, well, we share the coaches between the islands. So it's the St. Kitts coaches go over to Nevis to help run the Nevis program. So we're backwards and forwards
So the
between the
Nevis
islands.
coaches come down as well.
The other thing is, once you're a sailor, it's not so far to get to the other island, you know? You can jump in your own boat and sail over.
So does that happen when you guys are helping in Nevis? You all sail over?
It used to be. I have a hobby cat at Cockleshell. I used to jump in and sail over, teach the program, and come back. But I'm getting a little old and tired. So these days I tend to, and the programs tend to run a bit later now, so I don't want to sail back in the dark. So
Okay.
now I tend to take the sea taxi.
Okay, fair. And when the sessions are in St. Kitts, the coaches from Nevis come down as well?
It's more coaches from St. Kitts going to Nevis currently.
Oh, okay.
The instructors in Nevis are the junior instructors who've come through the programs. So it's great to see that some of, like Amadi, one of the competitors who was in this CDC, he also runs additional lessons in Nevis.
Okay.
So we go over when they have their bigger program, and when they do their smaller beginner programs, he runs those in Nevis.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Skylar, how is she doing?
She's good. She is doing a lot of swimming now. Unfortunately, we have lost her a little bit from sailing. The Swimming Association has a little bit of a bigger budget.
So they stole it from you?
They did steal her a little bit. But she has been doing wonderful things in swimming. And I think she actually has a scholarship program now to train.
Okay.
So she has a budgetary allowance. So she's training throughout the year so that she can still be. I think where she moved to, she actually has moved to high school in the U.S. So we're also losing her in that way because the school she's at is not near the sea, unfortunately.
Oh.
But where she is by us. She's at a swimming pool where the coach that is teaching her had her children was an Olympic swimmer. So they have a very high level swimming program.
Okay.
So she has transitioned focused more on the swimming, but we've lost her from sailing for now. She might come back.
Are there any schools that do sailing scholarships?
Sailing is a little bit harder for the scholarships. I don't think you can go on a scholarship. Once you get to the university, you can get a scholarship like as part of, you can if you compete in the team, you can get some help. but I don't think you can go to the university on a sailing scholarship, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Unlike track and field or basketball, volleyball, where you get a scholarship, so you go and you do that. Okay, it's a different. You got to go.
We have tried because we thought that would be a good avenue to help them progress on to the next level, to go off and do college racing, but we haven't managed to find that link yet.
Let's hope that you do get up to that. The opportunity presents itself. Let me put it that way. So, in terms of the Sailing Association, what's next on the cards for you for the balance of the year?
So I guess I wear two different hats. I'm a coach at the club. I'm also I help organize the club in St. Kitts, the St. Kitts Yacht Club. But then I also participate in the federal body, the Sailing Association. So at club level in St. Kitts, we have a 1.9 mile swim coming up on the 23rd of November. So all swimmers out there, it's a good opportunity. It's good to have something to train for, an event, a milestone that you want to achieve. So that's why we put this on the calendar. We are the sailing, not the swimming association. So our swimming tends to be more supportive of our sailing programs. We want to see more people in the federation get into the water so that they can access these opportunities. So the Channel Swim is held by a Nevis organization. So in St. Kitts, we feel it's our responsibility to also host an event in swimming. So this is a 1.9 mile swim on the 23rd of November. We swim from Salt Plage, White House Bay, down to Shipwreck on South Friars Bay. Mm-hmm. It's a nice flat water swim. You can do it competitively for prizes, or if you just want to put a snorkel on and go slow with your flippers and just look for turtles and stingrays and just enjoy it, you can come and do it like that. So we do get a mixture of kids that are training, who come and do it, and recreational swimmers. Some of the students come, and older people who just want to stay healthy and fit come and do it. It's a great swim, and if you're not a strong swimmer but you want to be a part of the event, we're always looking for volunteers to help with timekeeping, or if you want to assist on the water, we also have kayak support. So some family members or friends or just random volunteers can come and do it as a kayak as well, or paddleboard.
Well, I could swim a boat from the door to here. So, but it sounds encouraging. It sounds like, though you may not be swimming, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. You mentioned 1.9 miles. You mentioned from
3 kilometers
to Shipwreck. So there isn't a return leg.
No, it's just one way down current, flat water. It's kind of like the channel swim is 2.5 miles. And this is 2 miles, roughly. So it's like a slightly easier version, flat water. I actually prefer it personally. It's nice to say you swam between the two islands, but the swim is actually flat and calm, and you don't get a mouthful of water.
About how long has this been going on? How many years? And how many persons have you had? Have you seen an increase over the years?
Yeah, I think it's like our 8th or 9th year. Okay. Perhaps Elizabeth could correct me if I'm wrong.
You're there still, Elizabeth, or are you sleeping with it?
It's our 12th year.
12th, sorry. Time flies.
Wow.
So we normally have about 50 to 80 participants, and then maybe another 20 or 30 kayakers. So we try and maintain a good safety ratio. We have the Coast Guard come out and stuff like that. But we have seen a little bit of a transition. We used to have a lot of the students come and it'd be more of a fundraiser. We have less of them come now, but we have a lot more local youth participants. So it's great to see that a lot more of the local kids are getting involved in this swim. So the swim clubs put forward a couple of their athletes. We try to put a cap on it for safety. So we have said you have to be over 12 now, because the swim clubs are trying to outcompete each other with who could have the the youngest swimmer to make it. But it's great to see that there's a lot of this, the swim clubs are putting forward a lot of local swimmers, kids who, as a long distance training exercise. Because I think in swimming, you tend to need a swimming pool, and so we don't have one in the federation, but we do have a very good opportunity for long distance ocean swimming. So
Is there a registration fee?
there is a registration fee. It's a fundraiser for the club, and the profits go towards the youth sailing programs. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I think it might be $100, $150. We just upped it to add some T-shirts, and you get a fat breakfast, which I'm always happy to see. That's my motivation for the swim. You put one hand in front of the other, and you just picture the breakfast.
So is Elizabeth one of the cooks? Or she's one of the swimmers?
I wish. She's a great cook. But yeah, so that's one of our events that we're looking forward to, the Peninsula Swim. And then we also federally, in the Sailing Association, we also have the Optimist Championship, which Grayson was mentioning, which is at the end. So the 23rd is the swim, and then the 26th to the 27th to 29th.
The week after.
The following weekend.
The following weekend, yeah.
There's a competition in St. Martin that we try and take some people to. This is the Optimist class, so it's a youth-sized boat. And we can tend to take more kids to that event. The Caribbean Dinghy Championship is good, but it tends to be the top athletes from each country. And the one in St. Martin, there's a lot of the teams tend to bring very large fleets of kids. So you get 30, 40 kids on a line, which makes for great racing. And it's also a qualifier for the Optimist World Championships.
Okay.
So it tends to be a good level of competition. So we're hoping to take an Optimist team to that event as well.
So apart from that, do you have any other events coming up for the balance of the year?
So that we'll tend to...
The swim and the Optimist.
Yeah, after that we'll tend to wind down. We might have some recreational end-of-year things, but it tends to get busy on the water around Christmas season.
Okay.
And for Carnival, everybody gets busy. So the beaches tend to fill up with tourists. So
okay, and the tourist season is on right now too, so...
Yeah. So... We stop for the Christmas break, and then we restart again in January.
Abby, or let's start with Grayson first. Grayson, what would you say to young persons to get them into swimming, to encourage them, whether their parents are listening or they are listening to the program? What would you say?
I would say that it's very fun, and once you get to learn it, it's quite easy, and I enjoy being out on the water. It's a fun sport, and you get to meet a lot of new people when you go to the competitions.
That is wonderful. Thank you very much. And what school do you go to, Grayson?
Please repeat.
What school does Grayson go to, and what grade or form?
What form and what school do you go to?
Yes.
I go to an online school.
Okay.
I just started, and I'm in 7th grade.
Okay. 7th grade, that puts it at first form, I think, or thereabout. And what about you, Abby?
Yeah. All right. I go to the Charlestown Secondary School, or CSS in Nevis, and just today I was talking on stage in assembly about the Discover Sail program that we're doing for the CSS students on this Saturday. So yeah,
So you're like an ambassador for the sport.
yeah, I was the youth representative here. Along with Amadi, I was the youth representative at the Charlestown Secondary School, talking about sailing and encouraging people to come for our Discover Sail on Saturday.
That's wonderful. And
We
what
did it
what form
because-
you in?
Oh, I'm in Form 3.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Sorry, that actually reminds me, I did miss something.
Mhm.
So we actually are also doing an outreach program in St. Kitts. So I think Burchilds High School, we're hosting them on the 8th of November as well. So if there's any students who are interested in sailing at Burchilds, I think someone else is taking the lead on that.
That's wonderful. And anything to wrap up? Final words, Abby. Let's start with you. Any final words?
Yeah, I would just like to talk about how sailing has helped me. It has made me it has made me have some amazing memories. It has made me some great friends. I've had a lot of fun, and it's taken me to many different places. And I just want to say that sailing is a beautiful activity and sport, and I encourage everyone listening to try out sailing at least once in your lifetime. I'm sure you won't regret it. Thank you.
Thank you. I like that. You're encouraging me to get involved in sailing. And Grayson, any final words before we wrap up?
I would like to thank all my coaches, Coach Nick and Coach Nikhil, and my parents for helping me get to where I have to get the place that I've got. And I would also like to thank all the other coaches and competitors from Antigua and the other countries who helped me get to where I am.
Thank you very much. That is wonderful. And what about you, Mr. President? Final words as we wrap up.
Yeah, I think Abby had the best,
And they've said it all.
They've said it all. But yeah, we really would encourage anyone to get involved in sailing, whether you want to do it recreationally or competitive. There's lots of different avenues, from 5 years old until I don't know. I hope to sail my whole life. You can reach out. You can find us in St. Kitts. We're the St. Kitts Yacht Club. You can find us on Facebook or on skyachtclub.com. And in Nevis, you can look for, and we're based in Frigate Bay Beach, and we sail every Saturday if you want to come have a look. But please do reach
What
out
time?
to us. Normally from 2 to 5. And in Nevis, you can reach out to the Nevis Aquatic and Sailing Center, and they have programs on Sunday afternoon. Well, they also have Saturday programs, but Sunday afternoon is their main program. And you can also find them on Facebook, Instagram, website. So Nevis Aquatic Sailing Center and the St. Kitts Yacht Club. And Nevis has rebranded to the Aquatic Sailing Center, which is good. We call ourselves the St. Kitts Yacht Club still, but it's more of a learn to sail program. We don't have many yachts in St. Kitts. So it's not everyone is welcome. Come get involved.
Telephone number anybody could call.
So for St. Kitts, feel free to reach out to myself, 765-4246. That's 765-4246. And then in Nevis, you want to speak to Danielle as the main organizer there. She's on 663-4387. That's 663-4387.
Thanks a lot, Nick. And Grayson and Abby and Liz, I thank you very much for being a part of the show. I learned quite a bit, and I envy you folks. You're going all over the place, having fun, meeting your friends, sailing, representing St. Kitts and Nevis. That is really a big thing for me, representing your country. A lot of persons do that in various elements. You have administrators, you have officials, you have the athletes themselves, and of course the chaperones. They are there to lend their support. So persons like Liz and the other parents who would go and support, I thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And Abby and Grayson, thank you for representing me, because when you represent, you go out to represent St. Kitts and Nevis, you're representing the entire population, eh? So thank you very much for supporting me and making me feel proud of you folks. And I know you're going to go from strength to strength. And President Nick.
And just a final thank you for having us on your show. It's been a pleasure, and we hope to hear more.
Of course, we're always here. What about sponsors? Do you have any sponsors you want to thank?
We have a few sponsors. The National Olympic Committee was our main sponsor for participating in these regattas. So a big thank you to them as the sport representing sailing. They help us a lot for our competition pathway, for our recreational sailing at the clubs. We have different sponsors such as Tropical Shipping have sponsored us in the past. Elizabeth, perhaps you can help me with this one. Is there any other major sponsors?
Well, usually for the summer Easter programs, we have Rams that would sponsor the kids for refreshments and things like that.
Yes, and we have lots of smaller sponsors who do their part. Thank you.
Well, we thank you for the work you're doing with the swimming, sailing, as it were, and you keep going from strength to strength, and the events as well. The Swim Across the Channel, I haven't done that as yet. I really say one of these days I'm going to do it, but that too keeps building. And when I heard of the swimming down the coastline, I say, that sounds easy. That sounds like I could make it. But of course, I'll have to give it a try one of these days. I don't think it will be this year, God's fear. But who knows? We never could tell. And I have to probably go down the pump bed Sandy Point and swim around the arms for them all. But it was a pleasure being here with you. And I congratulate you on your association, Nick, for the work you're doing, your volunteers, your sponsors. We really congratulate you, and we wish you all the best, you and your athletes, your volunteers, the parents, that you go from strength to strength. And this is not the first time you've been here with us, and it definitely won't be the last. So thank you for being here on the ball at WINN FM 98.9.
Thank you for having us. Have a good night, everyone.
You've been listening to the St. Kitts and the Nevis Sailing Association live and lively. We had the president, Nick Dupree, here in the Federation, and we had Abby over in Nevis along with Grayson. And we thank them. And we had Liz in the background there supporting as well. We thank them. We congratulate you, Abby and Grayson, and wish you all the best. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be back to wrap up in a second or two. To know what's happening in sport, tune into On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. amazing how time really flies. They came in at 7:30, it's now 9 o'clock. And when you dig in and you interview these national associations, you really find out a lot of information. And we were pleased to have the youngsters with us, Abby and Grayson, along with the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Sailing Association, Nick Dupre. And they've been here with us before, so we congratulate them again and we wish them all the best. Time really flies by. I think we might have to ask that this program be about 3 hours, Mr. Producer. What do you say? But before, a lot of things happening. John Palmer, the cricket over there in Mansion, who we have coming up. We have games on the 2nd, Sunday the 2nd at 3 p.m. HMP versus Young Guns. Young Guns, the defending champions. And at 5 p.m. LA versus Christchurch. And remember, these are playing in a round-robin format, the semi-finals. 6 teams, the top 2 teams will play in the final. So we're getting down to the wire. We didn't touch domino, but domino is happening over in the east as well, the large Atlas Community Center. The Constituency 7 domino competition sponsored by the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris. And they've going on for 30 years. Wow, 3 decades. That's a lot of time, man. That's true. I think that was a little before my father met my mother. So, but we have some results. We got a little late. They too, they are in the best of 5. There's a final 4 for the top 4 playing for the championship. And the other 9 teams are playing the best of the rest. We're going to have some information for you next week, God's Spear. And the cricket, the Leeward Islands cricket tournament, that is happening here. They're going into their 2-day competition starting tomorrow, God's Spear. And if I look at the, try to find the 2-day schedule, and before I talk about that, I have to congratulate Michael Louis. He had a monstrous performance. Only 2 persons made centuries in the 50-over tournament. Terence Ward, he made 111 yesterday, and Kyle made a century in each and every match. I like to see that consistency. And in one match, he was going for a double century, actually. He had 170. He got out on 170. One of the matches, he came not out. I really encourage you, Kyle, to try and bat and come not out every single time for various reasons. One, it enhances your average, obviously, because if you bat 5 times and you're out 5 times, your aggregate score will be divided by 5. If you bat 5 times and you're only out 2 times, your average will be divided by 2. So if you made 300 runs and you divide by 2, you have an average of 150. And it is always said, especially in these limited overs, once the opening bats to the end, the team makes a lot of runs. And we've seen it. So please, Kyle, try to bat to the end of the innings. Test match as well, and even today. It's a different style. A lot is expected of you, Kyle, because we want to see you back in the West Indies team quick and in a hurry. It may not be so easy as it sounds, but once you keep making the runs, they will not have any choice. Good luck to all the teams. Good luck to the St. Kitts team. Congrats to Antigua for winning the 50-over competition. They won it via net run rate, so it is important to make a lot of runs out on the team quick and in a hurry. So we have that happening. And who else we have? Oh, yes, there's something I must read about the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletes Commission. They are having a program, a transition program for athletes. You're not going to be an athlete all your life. You're going to shift from an athlete to maybe an administrator, a commentator, an official. And so the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletes Commission, which forms part of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee, they're having a workshop captioned Navigating Athlete Transition. Navigating Athlete Transition Beyond the Game, preparing for life after sport. I like that. Beyond the game, preparing for life after sport. It happens on the 1st of November, which is Saturday coming the 1st of November from 8:45 to 1 p.m. at the Alfonso E. Bridges Olympic House. That's up at Taylor's Range. And the host is Hazel and Regis Buckles Oli. She's hosting the seminar with guest speakers Virgil Hodge. And remember, Virgil is an Olympian. She represented St. Kitts and Nevis in the Olympics. And the guest speaker, Jehan Williams. There's a form online that you need to complete, registration online. So those athletes, you can contact me and I could forward it to you on WhatsApp, or you can contact the SKNOC and get it from there. So that is something that I commend the athletes, the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletes Commission for doing that. Learn how to transition from an athlete to a professional. And I like to use the example Michael Holden. He was a cricket commentator. He was a test player for West Indies, cricket commentator for several years, going all around the world. World Cup, test matches, one-day internationals. We now have Badre out of, along with Ian Bishop and Darren Ganga out of Trinidad and Tobago. We've seen a bit of Carlos Brathwaite as well. There's a young lady. She's from Barbados. She has done a bit of it. So that is the thing right now. Whether it's CPL, whether it's West Indies Tournament, Test, World Cup, these guys are there. So these are the things we are talking about, umpires and things like that. So please do that. Why was my raspy? Anything else? Turkey. There's a big thing going on in Turkey. Some 500 and something football referees have been involved in gambling. And one referee involved in more than, 18,000? Gosh, boy. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. As officials, you cannot get involved in betting. Could you imagine Peter Paul, he's a referee, and he's betting, I don't know, Pabwe going to play Sagwe, and he's betting Sagwe going to win the match 3-0, or he's going to bet that Pabwe going to get 2 penalties, and he's the referee? Come on, guys. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, to all the listeners, the viewers, we thank you for being with us tonight. And as we slip away again, we remember our colleagues in Jamaica in the first instance, as the hurricane right now is moving overland, moving over Jamaica, and it's going to be hitting, well, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti. They are already getting the effects, and I think Turks and Caicos and Bahamas, but it's going to be traveling towards them. So please let us keep those countries in our prayers. We are fine, lovely sunshine, nothing happened. We had a little rain some time ago, but this is catastrophic. Those were the words used. Catastrophic. Category 5, the highest category. And I think I heard today on the media, the worst hurricane on the records. So please, let us pray for them. And I do have a brother up there in Jamaica. And I'm praying for you, Errol and family, Shalando and Chanda Paul and Olive as well, and all the others. Please be strong, please be positive, and hope for the best. Let's pray and hope for the best. You have been listening to another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I'm Troy Bif Mills. It was my pleasure bringing the program to you, and I thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I also thank the St. Kitts and Nevis Sailing Association for being here with us tonight, especially the 2 young athletes, Grayson and Abby, along with their moms, President Nick. We invite you to tune in again next week, God's Spear. We're going to have another program, and next week we're going to be having Coca-Cola Shamrocks. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary. 50 years, boy, that's a long time, boy. 50 years, yeah, that's a long, long time for an organization to be around. I think they might be, I remember Spurs, they celebrated 50 years ago. So which club is the oldest sporting club in the country? That's a good question. I'll need to find out. But anyway, we are also going to have the St. Kitts and Nevis Tennis Association, that's lawn tennis. They went to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for a championship. So we're going to be hearing about the athlete who went. That's next week, God's Spear. And the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, we're working on sending a team down to the OECS Table Tennis Championship in Grenada. That's from the 7th to the 10th. Sorry, the 6th to the 10th of next month. And of course, if you want to make a contribution in terms of sponsorship, we gladly accept that. And we're inviting you to come on board and sponsor the program on the ball or sponsor the WINN FM 98.9's daily sports news. Please call 466-9586, or you can call me, Troy Bif Mills, 668-2055, and we can work out whatever sponsorship package suits you. But as we leave the drivers, I like the idea that they're putting up these cameras to send you tickets. I had a challenge with how it was done. I believe there should have been town hall meetings to explain it before. They were going to ticket some 80-something people or 111 persons, but they decided to scrap that. So you had a chance, but please stick within the speed limits. There's an argument that the speed limit should be increased from 40 miles per hour in the outskirts, and I support that view. Coming from Sandy Point at mornings, sometimes the traffic, I don't know how many of you know that side of the country, but sometimes traffic backs up almost to Challengers, going around the 1840 bend, or 1980, whatever it is, and traffic block up all the way up to Ross University a little beyond. So think about increasing that, please. Traffic department, don't drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. Be patient, otherwise you'll become a patient. Drive to arrive alive. And always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Good night. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. I'm out of here. What's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.